Hey my loves, and welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to achieve this bold cut crease look that I did. All the products and tools I used will be listed down below. If you want to know how to achieve this beat, then keep on watching. So I already did her brows and I did one eye off camera. And to start off the look, I'm going in with the Juvia's Place Warrior palette. Now I'm taking that light brown shade called Kano and I'm using that as my transition color. And I'm applying it with my Morphe M5 18 brush. And I'm slowly building the pigment up into her crease and working my way up towards her brow bone. Next, I'm going in with my Morphe 39A Dare to Create palette, and I'm taking that third shade in the first row and that fourth shade in the last row, and I'm just applying it in her crease with my Morphe M433 brush. And I'm going to be going back and forth with those two shades, with the transition shade and that deep brown shade in her crease, just to make sure that all the shadows blend out seamlessly. For the cut crease, I'm going to be using my P.Louise Base in the shade 3, and I'm using my Morphe M421 brush that I had flattened. I learned this new technique from this makeup artist here on YouTube. Her name is Kiki Adams, and I will list that tutorial down below. It was very helpful for me, especially since I'm like a beginner for cut creases, and it was kind of tricky for me at first, but flattening your brush really helps. And anytime you want to do a cut crease look, I advise that you use this technique, so make sure you check down below for the tutorial. For the eyes, I really wanted to do a winged cut crease, so I slowly dragged my brush and I gave it that winged effect, and I'm just going back in to clean any edges and make sure my cut crease is sharp. I'm taking my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease brush and I'm just patting to remove any excess product that's on the eyelid. You want your base to be tacky and not too wet so that your eyeshadow colors can pop. So for the eyeshadow, I'm going to be using two different palettes. I'm using my James Charles palette by Morphe and the Zulu palette by Juvia's Place. So for that first shade, I'm taking that white color from the James Charles palette. It's the first shade in the third row, and I'm using my Morphe Tapered blending brush to apply it. Then for the yellow and orange shade, I'm going to be using my Zulu palette, and I'm using my BH Cosmetics number 8 brush for the yellow shade and my BH Cosmetics V9 brush for the orange shade. And for that last color, that burnt out reddish color, I'm going back into the James Charles palette again, and it's the 5th shade in the second row, and I'm using my Morphe brush. It does not have a name, but I do know it's from the I Slay brush collection. I forgot to mention in the beginning, for your base, if you have a white concealer or a white base and you're doing a bright colorful look, I advise that you use that so that your colors can really pick up. I just didn't have a white base at the time, but P.Louise is a great base overall, so it really helped bring my colors to life. But I wasn't really a fan of the James Charles palette. The colors were really hard to blend, and as you can see, the yellow and the white, and in between the orange just a little bit, the colors kept separating, so I had to keep going back and forth, and I didn't really like that. So if you have a different palette that has bright colors, you can totally use that. Now for the glitter liner, I'm going to be using my jLaRue Cosmetics Loose Glitter in Fairy Dust, and I'm using a lip gloss applicator that I had to apply the NYX Glitter Primer. You can use an actual glitter eyeliner, but I'm not a big fan of those because they tend to crack on me, so I just prefer using loose glitter. But it's all what you like, it's all like, it's your preference, so you don't have to use loose glitter, but hey. To finish off the eye look, I'm going in with my jLaRue Cosmetics Pigment in White Gold, and I'm using my Morphe M562 brush to apply it. This is one of their most popular pigments that they have, and I really love it. It's so pretty. It appears white at first, but once you apply it, you get this nice shimmery champagne gold vibe. Now moving on to the skin, I'm going to be using my Holy Grail BECCA Ever Matte Primer, and I'm just applying that into her T-zone. Then I'm going to follow up with their Backlight Priming Filter Primer as well. The reason I use a mattifying and illuminating primer is that I want to control her oils, but at the same time give her a luminous look. With the BECCA Ever Matte Primer, you want to pat that into the skin. You do not want to rub, because if you rub, you're going to get little tiny white balls that will form. So you just want to pat that into your T-zone. And moving on to foundation, first I'm going to be going in with the BECCA Aqua Luminous Perfecting Foundation in the shade Warm Honey. And I'm going to be mixing that with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation in 334 Warm Sun. And the same reason again why I use a mattifying foundation and a illuminating foundation is to balance the two. I want to control her oil so she's not overly shiny, but then again still give that illuminating look. And to blend out the foundation, I'm going to be using my Morphe M446 brush. Before blending out her foundation, I had sprayed some Mario Badescu Rose Water Spray. Now onto my favorite part, which is highlighting and contouring. To highlight her face, I'm using LA Girl Pro Conceal in Warm Honey, and I'm using my Morphe M410 brush to apply it underneath her eyes, bridge of her nose, forehead, cupid's bow, and chin. And to contour her face, I'm using my Black Opal foundation stick, and I mixed two shades. I mixed Hazelnut and Carob, and I'm applying those two on her cheekbones, forehead, sides of her nose, and jawline. And before I blend out any cream or liquid products, I always spray rose water spray. To blend out my under eye concealer, I'm using my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And listen, y'all, I might be on the wave now, because blending your under eye concealer with a brush gives you such a fuller coverage, and it was so flawless. Like, I was so amazed when I was doing her makeup. So I went back and forth in with the brush and the sponge, but the brush really gave me the coverage that I was looking for. Now I'm just using the same foundation brush that I used to blend out her foundation. I'm just going in between the highlighted area and the contour area just to make sure everything is blended seamlessly. We don't want to know where your highlight starts or where your contour starts. No. So you want to go over with your foundation brush. And to blend out the contour, I do not know how to pronounce the name of this brush. I think it's pronounced Japanese Q. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's going to be listed down below. You can get it from Ulta. It's like a brush set that they have. And now I'm going to be taking my Real Techniques. This is their Bold Metals collection brush. I think it's their tapered shadow brush. And I'm just using that to blend out the nose contour. And you can see where her highlighted area is near her inner corner. So I'm just using that same brush to blend it out. Before I applied any setting powder, I took a clean, keyword clean and damp beauty sponge, and I blended out any creasing underneath her eye so everything could just be smooth. Then I went in with my Social Buttercup setting powder and I patted, keyword patted. Again, I'm not baking, I'm patting underneath her eye, because first you want to set the under eye, then you could go in with any extra powder to bake. But we don't necessarily bake anymore because it's 2020, so we're cooking, you know? So we're cooking her face, and I'm just carving out her cheekbones with the same setting powder to define her cheekbones, and I'm applying the setting powder to any area that there's cream product. I wanted to brighten up the under eyes just a little bit, so I took a little bit of my Coty Airspun loose face powder and translucent extra coverage, just applied to the under eye. And to set the contour areas, I used my Black Radiance contour palette in the shade light to medium, and I'm applying it wherever I contoured, which was her forehead, cheeks, nose, and jawline. And instead of me brushing away the setting powder, I'm taking that same foundation brush that I used and I'm patting it into the skin. To set her whole face, I'm using my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Powder in Dark Tan, and I'm using my Morphe E41 brush. This is such a good fluffy brush, and it gives you such a flawless coverage. Every girl needs a good powder brush in her makeup kit. So I applied her lashes and liner off camera. Now I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio in Peachy Love. And I'm using that same brush from Ulta. I think it's pronounced Japanese Q. The one I couldn't pronounce, but it'll be in the description box down below. So after blush, I'm going to be highlighting her face. I used two highlighters, Maybelline Master Chrome in Molten Gold and MAC Hyper Real Glow and Get It Glowing. And to apply the highlighter, I used my Morphe M504 brush. To finish off the whole look, I did my signature lip combo, which is the NYX Pencil in Dark Brown, and I used the BECCA and Christina Teigen Glow Gloss in Beach Bum, and I used my NYX Butter Gloss in Fortune Cookie and Eclair, and I just topped it off with clear lip gloss, and that's it. And don't forget to set the face. I used the Anastasia Dewy Setting Mist and the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist as well. And oh, I just went back in and filled in her brows a little bit just to clean it up, make sure everything's good, do any finishing touches, and that completes the whole beat. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was my first time doing a beat like this. I usually don't do something as bold, but I had so much fun. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell for the next time I post. Thank you guys so much for watching, and mwah!